Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Trimco number LDH100 DM 626. This is their lockdown hardware, and the lockdown hardware is basically some internal componentry that you are going to use to alter an existing exit device. And the unit that I have here is the DM, which is going to be compatible with Dorma exit devices. And specifically, it's going to be compatible with, there are two models out now in terms of compatibility. There's the Dorma, which is compatible with the 9000, which is what is here. And then there's the Von Duprin, which is compatible with the 9899, 3335 series devices. And this video will serve as a visual review of the parts for the Dorma 9000 series, and then also an overview of the item, the available finishes, steps of installation, references to the manufacturer's original videos and information, and etc. So let's just start with a visual tour of the item. First of all, of course, the end cap. This is probably the piece that is most curious to you if you're looking at this video. And the end cap is basically going to be what you will always see on an exit device. You'll always see the end cap, but it features a spring-loaded button. As I push that button, there's a plate on the inside of here, of course, that moves every time I push the button. Okay, and the concept is that when the exit device is dogged, meaning you've pushed the push bar in and you've turned the hex key, or compatible with the cylinder dogging, and you've retained the retracted latch bolt, which is called dogged, when you push the button via a connecting rod connecting to the dogging assembly, it will undog or relatch the device. Meaning a door that's been dogged, meaning it's unlatched, meaning that the door can be used for simple push and pull purposes. Think of a school where that exterior door, and it's hard to fathom a door that would actually be unlatched or unsecured in today's environment. But if you have a door that's dogged open, you may have, well, actually, very commonly, you would have an exterior set of doors. Inside, there would be a security checkpoint. Security guard, the interior vestibule doors to the entrance to the physical interior of the school are locked. You can walk up to that exterior door and pull it open and get to the guard. Okay. Well, this device will allow you to quickly, immediately latch that exterior door just by literally going up to it and pushing the button. Now, there are videos below this video from Trimco demonstrating not only its function, but the installation of a Von Duprin version. And while the Dorma is a little bit different, they're really they're the same in essence. And how that's accomplished is once the cam, and this is the Dorma 9000 version, once the cam is brought onto the dogging assembly substructure, whether it's Dorma or Von Duprin, and the connecting rod has been set, the length of this is dependent on how long that stock of the exit device is. You will loosen this collar and put it up against the shoulder of the larger rod. That will all just simply fit into this hole and butt up against the button. And every time you push that button, you can get the concept of what happens. I'm pushing that. But what actually happens is I'm affecting a movement via the bar to the cam to literally make that rotate, allowing it to dog and undog. Pardon me, allowing it to undog. Doesn't redog. You have to physically reset it again. A knowing, manual reset is what's required. And let's start, and this is a new piece of hardware for me. It's been in concept for at least a year, if not longer, in its middle of 2018 at the time of this video. So in our website currently, there's going to be the lockdown hardware for Dorma and Von Duprin, According to Trimco, they have Marks 9900 series coming. They've got Precision Apex 2000 series coming, and Corbin Russwin ED 5000 series coming or planned. There is a link below this video to the installation instructions for the Dorma version, and since we're talking about it, let's just hop into that. First of all, with any good set of installations, you're going to get a set of parts. What's included? Obviously, a Dorma style end cap. You're going to get the 2 screws to hold the end cap onto the end cap mounting bracket, which would come with the device. You'll get a retaining ring, and that's going to be specific for the Dorma version. The Von Duprin is slightly different. The actuator rod and cam. The actuator rod and the actuator rod assembly and its cam. Okay, and again, they have Dorma bracket reuse. You're not getting a Dorma bracket. That's what I'm calling the end cap mounting plate. That's already going to be there. You're going to remove the existing end cap. By all means, save that. There's probably going to be another device in your school facility that will not have lockdown hardware, and end caps seem to get broken, so save that old part. Looking at step 1, they want you to remove the end cap. Remove the end cap, mounting bracket, and cover. So the cover is the portion of the exit device that you will slide away or pull away. You're going to slide it away to reveal the dogging assembly. And if you have a fire-rated device, you don't have a dogging assembly. So this would not apply to any device that is a fire panic hardware. Fire-rated doors are obligated to be self-closing and self-latching. A dogging provision would violate that cardinal rule of fire-rated doors. So you will not have one on any fire-rated doors. And if your door is fire-rated and you have a dogging device, that's a different problem that needs to be fixed. Not to be put on those doors at all. Use a flat-bladed screwdriver to remove the retaining ring. Next, pull the Dorma cam off. The cam has a spring and a ball which may fall out. These will not be used again. So literally, the Dorma device is going to have a cam that looks like this. It's going to have a retaining clip. There's one here as well. Remove the retaining clip. Pull the cam off. There will be a couple of extra parts which you won't need, but hang on to those. You're simply going to replace that with this assembly. Place this on and reset the clip, which is step 2. Install cam onto the hex post, because the hex post is where the dogging key goes into, the hex key to dog the device. Align the detent ball with center notch, which is the undogged position in figure 2.1. So you can see this is going to be your undogged position. Install the retaining ring on the top of the cam into the groove on hex shaft. Convex side up, figure 2.2. Install retaining ring on top of the cam onto groove on hex shaft. Okay, so very, very simple. That retaining ring is going to fit on top of here and will go into the groove that's cut in the hex shaft to seat it down. Okay, so moving to step 3, reinstall the Dorma mounting bracket. So it's possible that when you remove, not possible, it's absolute, that when you remove the end cap mounting bracket from the door, your device is no longer going to be very stable on the door. There will be bolts obviously holding it at the head case, but you may want to have someone there holding the device so that it doesn't stress the installation on the other end at all. It's not mentioned in the installation instructions, and obviously Trimco has tested this with the actual Dorma device, which I unfortunately don't have. So be mindful that you might want someone to hold the device until you reattach the end cap. In step 3, reinstall the Dorma mounting bracket, end cap mounting bracket. Install the Trimco end cap by using provided 832 machine screws, and ensure the actuator rod is in place as shown in figure 3.1. So you're literally going to, this is attached, okay, that's already attached. This will slide in. You're going to adjust this collar with the set screw such that this will extend to butt up to the inside of the end cap push button. This will be loosened and slid down and retightened so that now you have a fixed assembly, and that can't move anywhere once it's held captive on the inside of the end cap, just like that. Okay? Make those adjustments, tighten the collar. Obviously test for proper operation. You're going to dog the device, you're going to push your trigger and make sure it undogs. Moving to step 4, once the end cap is in place, set the male rod position by placing the end rod flush, placing the end flush with the inside of the end cap button. That it basically is, again, make this touch the button, slide this down and tighten it. Ensure the collar is flush to the end of the female rod. The female rod, the male rod. Male rod's the smaller rod. Tighten the hex nut collar. Test the function. Adjust as necessary. When operating correctly, remove the end cap and mounting bracket to install the cover. So what they're basically saying is, before you install the cover, and the Trimco installation demonstration video on the Von Duprin shows exactly this step. They don't have the cover on when they've installed everything, made the final adjustment here, put the end cap on with just one screw, tested operation. Once they know it works, meaning this is adjusted correctly, pull the end cap off, slide the cover on, put the end cap back on, because you now know that this length is proper. 2 screws, which again are provided. Test for proper operation. And that is basically step 5. Step 6 talks about cylinder dogging, and that process is very similar to the hex dogging instruction. Set cam to dogged position and adjust actuator rods as in instruction 4. Install cover with cam still set in dogged position. Slide cover with keyed cylinder into position. Key position as shown, cylinder cam pointed towards end cap. Slide cover with keyed cylinder into position. Install the mounting bracket with end cap. And yeah, I don't inherently see any difference in that at all. And really what they're saying is, in order to properly test the success of your installation on a cylinder dogged unit, you have to have the cover installed, because that's how you're going to redog the unit. You don't have a hex key to insert there. So step 6 again, cylinder dogging is very similar. Set the cam into the dogged position and adjust the actuator rods as previously done in step 4. Put the cover on with the cam with your device still in the dogged position. Push it in, set the cam so you're dogged. Put the cover on. Slide the cover with the keyed cylinder into position. Key position as shown, which the cylinder will be horizontal, the key will go in flat. The cam, the top of the cam, needs to be pointed towards the end cap, okay? Which is what would happen when you don't have the key in the cylinder. The cam would be pointed towards the top of the end cap, towards the end cap. Slide the cover with keyed cylinder into position, install the mounting bracket and end cap. Step 7 is to test the installation by first setting exit device in the dogged position, then to press end cap button to undog the exit device and ensure it's in the locked position. That goes for, hex key dogging or cylinder dogging. So that's the Dorma installation instructions, and they are linked to down below this video. Now, below this video as well is all of the details regarding the lockdown hardware, and starting with why lockdown hardware. According to Trimco, the National Association of State Fire Marshal guidelines address door security devices. And it's stated that they're mandatory in many states, as they are included as part of the IBC, the International Building and Fire Code, and Life Safety Codes. They mandate that locking mechanisms should be able to do the following: provide immediate egress by being located between 34 and 48 inches above the floor, not require special knowledge or effort, nor a key or a tool, nor require tight grasping or twisting or pinching to operate, and are to be the action of egress to be accomplished by only one person. No special knowledge, no special tools, nothing that the handicapped code would be violated in using, and you have to be able to do it with one person. Okay, all of that code presently exists, but what's interesting about that is that it's kind of borrowing from separate codes, bringing it all together to say that this operation must be compliant with all that code, because all that code, the ADA guidelines, the life safety code, they both apply. So here it is all in one paragraph. Be easily lockable in case of an emergency from within the classroom. Don't know how many exit devices you'll see in classrooms and that are not fire rated, meaning I don't know how many of those you'll see. This may be a perimeter building situation, although now that I think of it, I know that in Florida there are, being from the north, I never see classrooms that have exterior doors that are the outside of the classroom, and then you go from class to class and you're literally outside. That doesn't exist in where I'm from in schools. You go through hallways. So those classroom doors are interior doors is my point. Where in a southern climate, I can understand how you might have an exterior door that would not need to be fire rated, but would need to be handicap accessible, life safety accessible, and have authorities having jurisdiction saying we must be able to lock them down quickly and easily. Be easily lockable in case of an emergency from within the classroom with an authorized credential. Without opening the door. Okay. Now, let's take a further look at this. Lockable and unlockable from outside the door with authorized credential. So it says, be easily lockable in case of emergency from within the classroom without opening the door. Lockable and unlockable from outside the door with authorized credential. So obviously the lockdown hardware is becoming the credential to be used on the inside of the door. There is also information, excerpts from the final report of Sandy Hook Advisory Commission, recommendations that are listed there. The features of this unit are listed: simple one-touch mechanical lockdown for exit devices, cost-effective aftermarket or new construction solution, does not require a key or a hex wrench to lock down the doors. It's literally just a push of a button. Durable die-cast construction. It is ADA compliant. Easy installation, requires no special tools or removal of the exit device from the door. I think really all you are going to need will be a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. It'd be nice to have a set of pliers, which you'll probably need. A long nose might be a good option on those pliers. And after that, I don't think you'll need anything. Other than it would be nice to have someone help you hold the device so it doesn't tip down, because what happens, having done work on exit devices in the past, that door, like when you remove the end cap, which I don't think you have to do on the Von Duprin, it will probably move down a little bit. And what you don't want to have happen is the door scratch the face of the door, the exit device moving scratch the face of the door, because when you pick it back up, even if it's 1/8 of an inch, you'll have that little scratch underneath. So you'll want to be mindful about that device not moving. Works with hex key or cylinder key doggings. Applications K through 12, colleges and universities, healthcare, government facilities, public buildings, and hospitality. That's the overview. The functions right now, as in the middle of 2018, Dorman 9300, Von Duprin 98, 99, 33, 35. Available really in all of the architectural finishes that you'll encounter, and plus it's being Trimco, they can do any finish, really. Not any finish, but they'll entertain their request for custom finishes. But certainly 605 polished brass, 606 satin brass, 613 dark bronze, 625 polished chrome, 626 satin chrome, and then special finishes. If it's die-cast aluminum, that means none of that's correct. They're not going to be any of those finishes, meaning when they say 625, that means brass with a polished chrome plating. This is die-cast aluminum, so be mindful that The end cap that you get will be complementary to the finish on the device. Just like on the device itself, it's all not going to be polished chrome. There will be pieces on there that are not made of brass and will not be actual polished chrome. But to be clear, they will certainly be in compatible finishes. There are functional and installation videos from Trimco below this video. There is some frequently asked questions from end users to Trimco, asking what devices they're compatible with. We've talked about that. Does the addition of the lockdown hardware affect UL ratings? It does not modify the dogging actuation or alter the latching mechanism critical for panic egress. Fire-rated devices do not have dogging, therefore you're not using the LDH100. And I guess doesn't affect it because it doesn't apply. Do I need to remove the exit device from the door to install? No, absolutely not. We talked about that. They say, Trimco says that you can install this in less than 10 minutes. I'm thinking it'll be even far less than that. Maybe the first one can be that much. What is the maximum range of exit device width to work within? This is going to work certainly from, the standard kit will work with devices up to 36 inch. There is an available conversion kit for 48 inches, so that will have to be specified, and you can select that as well. I am imagining, I don't know how they accomplish that, but I would think it's just going to be a longer rod or a conversion rod over this rod. There might be a linkage that's created. It might be an additional piece that will create a linkage. Can you dog the device into position? No, it does not perform the redogging. That's a manual reset that a person will have to do with either the hex key or the cylinder dogging key. This will only work on, will this work only on current devices, or can it be retrofitted to older devices? At this time, there is an available cam replacement kit for Von Duprin devices prior to 1997. They do not have any information regarding Dorma or the other future planned exit device compatibility. There will be installation instruction sheets that are available down below. Von Duprin has had a change in their end cap assembly, so you very likely will need, it's possible that you'll need the new end cap bracket for that. And for the Von Duprin, you will see the reference to the part number for the new end cap, because the end cap, the Von Duprin end cap prep from Trimco, is based on that end cap mounting bracket. They changed the end cap mounting bracket, and the caps from Trimco are compatible with the current end cap mounting bracket. If you have an old style end cap mounting bracket, which is shown there, this won't work. The Von Duprin version won't work. You'll need to get the new end cap bracket. You can buy that from them as well. And I don't know the date of when that changed. Von Duprin would be able to provide that. But I think prior for you to purchase the unit, simply visually identify what your end cap looks like. If it looks like the old style, order the replacement end cap as well. Okay. That concludes everything that I have regarding this Trimco lockdown piece of hardware. I can tell you that I've spoken to the manufacturer regarding this hardware. They're quite proud of it. They have had some significant success with a particular university being incredibly pleased with their deployment of the hardware, and as a result, they do plan out future compatibility models, as mentioned earlier. I'm partial to Trimco, and it's because, well, they do have some very unique, well thought out, well engineered pieces of hardware. But what makes me most partial to them is the caliber of the fit and finish of their hardware. It's very true that this is a very good looking end cap. The edges are finished nicely. The manufacturing process is such that this looks clean and detailed, and the machine that actually did all the milling on this piece looks as if it was just perfect. Well, this is just a piece of aluminum. When you get a piece of solid brass, a multi-bar push bar set from Trimco, and you can still smell the brass polish on it, and it looks like someone who's done nothing their entire life but do metalworking on architectural base materials, you realize that they are a well-organized company when it comes to understanding the science of the products that they're using to convert it into high-quality trim and auxiliary hardware. A downside of Trimco would be the fact that their lead times can be long. The fact of that is Trimco is a manufacturer. They're not the stuff they make is per order usually. I don't believe they identify themselves as having this unusual material, which much of trim and auxiliary is, in stock ready to go. So do plan accordingly, and I can tell you this. The lead time with Trimco is always well worth the wait when it comes to the quality of the product. Their customer service department, their quoting department, has become very responsive of late. There was a change in ownership at a certain point where naturally you could expect things to slow down as new ownership got their footing, figured out where they were and what direction they were going in. A physical move didn't help that process, but it's really it's enjoyable to deal with them when they're firing on all cylinders, and I would not want to compete against them if there was a very responsive, very high quality manufacturer of trim and auxiliary hardware who is innovating the space within which they work. Kudos to them and everything that they do. Any questions on the lockdown hardware as a distributor for Trimco, please feel free to reach out to me as a point of contact. When it comes to this hardware, we'll do everything we can working with the factory to facilitate your successful implementation of a deployment of lockdown hardware. Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. Thank you very much.